Hi, good morning. So today, continuing our conversation on various aspects that have to do with understanding the nature of the self, the nature of consciousness, the nature of reality. I want to thank all of you for supporting You Are the Universe, Discovering Your Cosmic Self and Why It Matters. And I do want to announce that on January 30th, a couple of weeks from now, this new book, The Healing Self, will be also available in bookstores. So I wrote this book with Rudy Tanzi, who is professor of neurology at Harvard and the director of the Genetics and Aging Research Unit at Massachusetts General Hospital, one of the world's experts on Alzheimer's. So you can actually go online and order this book now if you want to. And if you do, you will be supporting me and Rudy in continuing our explorations into the nature of reality, into the nature of healing, into the nature of existence, because they're all connected. Healing, health, holy, existence, awareness, consciousness are all connected. So today's topic was sparked by a question that came from Tanya Markwart. She is planning faculty relations manager in the Student Success Office, University of Waterloo. And the question is as follows. And by the way, you can send me these questions at the following address, info@jayo.com. INFO, info@jayo.com. Once again, info@jayo.com. Jayo, J-I-Y-O. You can also download the app, Jayo, J-I-Y-O, and you can also go on the internet to jayo.com, jayo.com, J-I-Y-O.com, and we have a new feature there. It's called My Story. So I see that Aurora Carlson has already posted her story, and I would love for you to share your story, your stories of transformation, your insights, your reflections. Do so, because if you do that, then we can all expand our awareness, which is what we're doing here. So, thank you, Ramanand Dixit. I see that you are also posting on Jayo. Michelle, thank you as well. Okay, so let me now continue on our topic, which comes from Tanya. And she says, Hi Deepak, I recently came across the work of neuroscientist Stanislas Dehaene. My question is, what do you say in response to the view that the neural correlates of consciousness constitute consciousness? Or how do you link these types of positivist explanations to a deeper, more spiritual explanation? I have some inklings, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thanks for your time. Best wishes, Tanya. Okay, so here we go. Let's try and answer this question just through certain experiments we can do right now, okay? So wherever you are in the world at this moment, just doesn't matter. Ramanand Dixit, you're in India, there are people in Canada. Hopefully Tanya is watching this in the University of Waterloo in Ontario in Canada, but doesn't matter where you are. Think of something that happened yesterday. Maybe think of dinner that you had last night. Is everybody doing this right now? Can you think of something that happened yesterday? Think of something that happened last night or yesterday, or just a meal that you had or somebody you met. Okay, I'm assuming that we all did this exercise right now. I had dinner last night with Rita, my wife. We had khichdi and some vegetables. And as I remember that, I'm having an experience, a visual experience. I can see on the screen of my consciousness sitting at the dining table, eating khichdi, the vegetables. I can remember the taste. So I have a visual experience, but I also have the auditory experience of the conversation I was having with Rita, and I am also having the experience of taste. I'm having that experience right now as I think of that. And if you're trying this, Melinda, if you're trying this in Portland, Oregon, then you're having an experience as well. And the question is, where is that experience happening? That's the big question, isn't it? So, of course, many neuroscientists would say that it's happening in the brain. But if I go inside the brain, if you go inside my brain as I'm remembering last night's dinner and I'm remembering the taste and the conversation and actually hearing the conversation and looking at all the colors around me from yesterday, none of that is actually happening in the head or the brain, because there's no image in the brain, there's no sound in the brain, there is no taste, there's no texture in the brain. What there is in the brain is what Tanya calls the neural correlates of consciousness. We can substitute neural correlates of consciousness, we can also say neural correlates of experience. Okay, and what are these neural correlates? They are electrochemical activities and the firing of neurons from disparate parts of the brain. They all fire. Neurons that fire together, wire together. So neurons fire and they bring the experience of the memory. Okay? But what we see when we look at the brain is just these electrochemical activities and the sudden correlative arising of connections between neurons. But that which we see as the neural correlates of experience, that which we call electrochemicals, and that which we call the electrochemical firings and the different neurons connecting, that itself is an experience, right? That itself is an experience. The neural correlates of experience are also an experience. So where is that experience happening? Okay. We can say for sure that the experience is not happening in the brain. Okay. The experience that you're having right now is not happening in the brain. Of course something is happening in your brain, but it is not the experience. You're looking at me on your screen, but there is no image of me in your brain. There is no sound. Deepak's voice is not in your brain. There's a neural correlate for that experience in the brain. Where is the sound being experienced? Where is the image being experienced? Where is the taste being experienced? Where is the smell being experienced? Where is the interpretation of that being experienced? This is indeed called the hard problem of consciousness. by looking at the brain, you can see the correlates of the experience without knowing how or where that experience is happening. So this is a very important question, isn't it? Because all we have is our memories. And somebody has already posted, what about people with dementia or Alzheimer's? When their brain is damaged, then of course the experience is also very difficult to retrieve. Memory is damaged. I'll come to that in a few moments. But this is number one right now for you to know that last night's dinner is not in your brain. Okay, there's no neuron in your brain that says khichdi or vegetables. Danielle Correa says in my head, no Danielle, your head is also an experience in you. So how do you know you have a head? Because it's an experience. Masood Fahan says, in my awareness, in myself. Well, that's pretty close, but let's explore that very carefully and slowly. Now, let me ask you to try something else. So remember that we can go a little deeper. Instead of thinking about last night's dinner, think of the house that you lived in as a teenager. How many of you can now have an experience thinking of the house? Can you see an image? Can you see a bedroom? Can you see your parents? Okay, so instead of last night's dinner, just go back to your teenage years. Can you experience something? Where was that memory? Where was that experience before I asked you to have it? Now, go a little deeper. Go back to some experience in childhood. If you can remember some experience in childhood. So remember maybe ice skating. I learned ice skating when I was a child. Okay, I remember riding a bicycle. I can remember that. Okay. Now here's the mystery. As I retrieve that memory of learning how to ice skate or riding a bicycle or the house that I lived in or my parents when I was a child or myself when I was a child, as I retrieve that experience, the brain that is involved in retrieving that experience is not the brain that was involved in recording that experience. So even though you can remember your childhood, not a single molecule in your brain, not a single atom in your brain, not a single neuron in your brain exists today that existed when you retrieve that memory. Not a single neuron, not a single atom, not a single molecule exists in your brain today that existed when you had that experience. Not only that, after many, many, many years, I went to a skating rink in New York, an ice skating rink in New York. And I hadn't skated since I was a teenager. But then I picked up the skates and I started skating with a little wobbliness, but in 5 minutes I was fine. So where was the memory of that skill located? Because when I learned that skill, I had a different brain, I had a different body. What I'm saying right now to you is that our memories transcend the molecules on which they ride. Our memories transcend the structure of the brain, which is somehow involved in retrieving the memories. And now, of course, people are posting all kinds of comments based on their understanding. They're saying, oh, the memories are in the body, the memories are in the muscle. But remember, the muscles that you use today to skate are not the muscles that you used when you learned how to skate. There's not a single atom in your body, a single molecule in your body that is there today that was there when you were a child. And yet, memories are there. So, memories transcend the molecules, the brain and the body on which they ride. Think of riding a horse. You're riding a horse, but you're not the horse. Same thing, you're riding on the body, but you're not the body. You're riding the body, but you're not the body. So, where is memory? Is memory, which we also equate with information, is it... Carol Barrett says, but the structure still exists. No, the structure in the form that it existed when you were a child doesn't exist. The archetypal form exists, but the structure, in fact, there is no structure. Everything that we call a structure is a process. So somebody just now, Sangeeta, I said, memories exist in the soul. I'm coming to that. Yes, they do exist in the soul. But what is the soul? So let's come to that in a few moments. I think so far we can say very clearly that memories override the body, the brain, the atoms, the molecules, and the structures on which they ride. Just like someone riding the horse doesn't think they are the horse. So you as memories and experiences and desires and wishes and longings and context and meaning and relationships, that you is riding that which we call the body, but you are at this moment and never were in the body that you're riding on. Okay, so where is this you that has these wisps of memory and threads of desire that you call me, Deepak, or you, Ramanand, or Masood? Masood is saying in timeless, spaceless domain. Yes, you're correct, but let's go there very slowly. Okay, so let's come back in 15 seconds to explore this. So I'm back here, and now let's explore this, okay? Where is the memory before you retrieve it? Well, here's the answer that seems reasonable. The memory does not exist until the moment that you retrieve it. Now, of course, you know, scientists who study memory, they classify memories in many ways. So there's recent memory, there's long-term memory, there is procedural memory. Procedural memory means the memory of how to drive a car or ride a bicycle or go ice skating or even walking or doing anything that we do automatically. These procedural memories that we learned at some point. Then there are declarative memories, or what we call biographical memories. What I ate for dinner, what house did I live in, etc. Again, the question is being asked, what happens to a dementia patient? And I'll come back to that. Okay, so these are very difficult questions to answer if you have a dualistic worldview. If you think that mind, brain, body, universe, and existence are different things, then these questions are very, very difficult to answer. But if you have a deep understanding of non-duality, which means mind, brain, body, universe are experiences or activities in consciousness, and the experiences are happening in consciousness, are known in consciousness, or as my friend Rupert Spira would say, made out of consciousness, that there is only consciousness, there's only awareness, and memories are the shimmering, evanescent, quivering of that consciousness. Then the memories are recreated when you retrieve them. Yes, memories are activities, memories are verbs, but so is the brain, so is the body, so is everything that you experience. Everything that we call a structure is a process. And everything that we call a process is an activity, a verb, that is a modified form of you as timeless, spaceless consciousness. Okay, so now coming to the hard problem of consciousness. The neural correlates of consciousness are an activity in consciousness. The brain is an activity in consciousness. The mind is an activity in consciousness. The body is an activity in consciousness, and the world is an activity in consciousness. Consciousness is modifying itself as mind, brain, body, universe. Furthermore, the words mind, brain, body, and the world are human constructs for experiences in consciousness, which are made out of consciousness, known in consciousness, experienced in consciousness. In other words, there's nothing other than consciousness. Masood, mind is verb, body is an activity, world is an activity, all are in timeless awareness. Yes, Masood. Timeless, spaceless, intangible, borderless, inconceivable, unimaginable, not perceptible, totally formless, and the only thing that's real. Because everything that is tangible, imaginable, experiential is a shimmering, quivering activity in that timeless, formless, invisible, intangible, borderless being. That is you. Consciousness conceives, constructs, governs, and becomes the experience that we call mind, body, universe. Benny, the spaces in between. Yes, the spaces in between the quivering, the spaces in between the shimmering, the spaces in between the process. That's awareness. But awareness is present in the process and in the absence of the process. Awareness never goes anywhere because it is eternally present as that which we call now. The only solution to these conundrums is understanding non-duality. That in the deeper domain, mind, body, brain, universe, are all existing as potential, the immeasurable potential of all that was, all that is, and all that will be. Well, what about dementia? Let's go back to that. So, when you destroy a book, let's say you destroy all the information in this book, well, the information is already still exists in the consciousness from where it came. You destroy the brain, that particular manifestation of experience is not there, but as potential it exists already eternally in the formless domain till it finds another way of recycling itself, which is what is happening all the time. That which we call the world is the recycling of memory, personal, collective, and ultimately universal. In fact, the very fact that you can listen to me and identify me as this entity called Deepak Chopra is the recycling of memory, and by the time this information gets to you, it's already in the past. Joe Parry says, you look like you need a rest, Deepak. No, I don't. I had a very good restful night. I had 2 hours of meditation. I had yoga, and I'm totally rested. But thank you for your concern. So, who are you as a body, mind, and experience of the world? You are the recycling of experience, or the recycling of memory that is happening in that which we call now. And that which we call now. And now is all there is. Now is eternity. And now is not a moment in time, because that which we call a moment in time is totally ungraspable. No one has seen a moment arriving, showing up, and then disappearing, followed by another moment arising, showing up, and disappearing. So, ground yourself in that being, and then you are free. I think I'll end today with a few quotes from Rumi. He says, why do you stay in prison when the door is wide open? So what is the prison? The prison is the attachment to an ungraspable experience. The body is an ungraspable experience. The mind is an ungraspable experience. That which you're having right now as an experience is ungraspable. It's over as soon as it arises. So clutching and trying to grasp experience is like trying to clutch and grasp a breeze or a wisp of smoke in the air. Wisps of memory, threads of desire, squeezed into the experience that we call a body-mind, the volume of a body in the span of a lifetime. But again, body-mind are experiences ungraspable, arising, subsiding, shimmering, quivering in the timeless screen of consciousness, made out of that consciousness. You are not in the body is in you. You're not in the mind is in you. You're not in the world is in you. You, as consciousness, attached to wisps of memory, threads of desire, is a process that we call body-mind, and the experience of the world that goes along with that body-mind. A unified experience shimmering, quivering on the screen of consciousness. And that's all there is. Eternal being, timeless being. So the prison is invisible, but it's very real. Let's go back to Rumi. Why do you stay in prison when the door is wide open? Look at these worlds spinning out of nothingness. This is you. We come spinning out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust. God's language is silence, everything else is poor translation. Rest in being, and all will be clear. I look into your eyes and see the whole universe, not yet born. Little reminders into that which is called ultimate reality. Lorraine, yes, we are the universe. You are the universe. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me today.